What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome into the show. Welcome in each and every one of you. I know most of you are eliminated and ghost-like at this point. Apparitions disappearing into the mist. But I still wish you well. It's October after all. Things are getting spooky and we're doing our own ghost thing, our ghost dance. Maybe we will be returning from a graveyard straight to the battlefield, but maybe more likely to the hand. Yes, that's right. This is Hunt the Week, a weekly podcast about the Magic Arena Sealed Gauntlet League Dominaria United. Oh boy. And this is week 6, baby. We did it. We're done. See you later, Dominaria United. It was fine. It was fine. You know, unless you made top 8, then you're probably saying, it's one of the best formats of all time. Are you kidding me? I won. That's just how it goes. Not much you can do about it. Yes, this is a weekly podcast about our league. This is the show. I'm the ghost with the most. You're Don John DeMarco. You're Riveteer Don. You're Goku or go home. You're John. That's me. Hello. Hi. How are you? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope so. And we did it. We made it to the end of week 6. This is the last show of Dominaria United. Wow. You know, let's take a look back and remember all the cards we hated playing against. Yeah, Miria's Outriders. That was a fun one, huh? Urberg Repossession. Ugh. Talarian Geyser. Remember that one? Gaining life and drawing a card? That's 2 halves of a Cloud Blazer right there. Well, I'm not going to miss the 5-color stuff. I'm not going to miss it, but I am excited for the Mega Draft. Because we're not going to be getting 5-color domain Mega Draft decks. We're going to be getting some real serious, good old-fashioned Magic. And I am here for it. I am excited. So, here's the kicker.
I'm a kicker. K-I-C-K-E-R.
All right, this is the segment where I normally go over strategies for the week and what else to do. But we're in the Mega Draft. It's done. Everything's done. It's over. So, Mega Draft strategies, I guess, right? Take fixing highly, stay open for a long time, to play black. Take a lot. I mean, statistically, I think red and green does very well, over a long period of time, but so does green, black, and green, blue. And play 2 colors, because 3-color decks usually do not do well in the Mega Draft. Please try to stay 2 colors. Last time I talked about how no 3-color deck had ever won, and I was corrected that some 3-color decks had won, but they were mostly just a splash, a couple cards. No true 3-color deck has ever won the Mega Draft because there's just too much variance in it, right? Even with your Dominaria United pack, you're probably not going to get the fixing you need. So draft it. Do some practice drafts. Open up... Oh, a cat meow. Open up Heroku. Do some drafts. Just get a feel for it. You know, that's what I like to do. I draft against bots. I'll do like 5 practice drafts before it starts, just to, remember the sets a little bit. Remember, oh yeah, that card was really good, or that card worked really well with this card. I wonder if I can wheel that. Just kind of look at what you're looking for, what you're looking at. Give yourself a little refresher, right? And play well, play strong. Some people are going to lose based off, mulligans, shuffler. I think the shuffler is still broken, everybody. It's been broken for a long time. I don't know who we have to talk about to fix it. The shuffler is still broken, but some people are just going to lose, and that's just how it is. It may not be because of a play or anything wrong that they do. They just might not get a chance to play Magic. But somebody's going to win, and they're going to do it with great spectacle. I can't wait to see it. I'm rooting for each and every one of you. There's nobody that I'm rooting against, right? I'm not rooting against any of these guys. Bunch of great names on here. Bunch of great players. So your top 8 for the Mega Draft. Justin P. Code Pigeon finished 22-8. Johnny M. 22-8. Jeremy E. 22-8. Ragu B. Midnight Falcon 22-8. Dan A. Beat Down Bringa 20-10. Jordan M, J Entron, 20 and 10. David S, Sir Lusor, 20 and 10. Sean S, Unknown Thursday, 20 and 10. Right outside at number 9, you do have Emmett Sepulcher. We're going to get to that a little bit later. But there's some great storylines here. Sean was 3 and 8. 3 and 8, okay? And went 17 and 2. Can you think about that? Can you imagine? Those are Cody level numbers. That's a storyline. This person was almost eliminated in week 3. They were sitting on death's door in week 3 going, I'm not making this thing. So if you ever had a bad record going into week 3, week 4, use this as something to look up to and something to say, wow, I can do it. From 3 and 8 to 20 and 10. 8th place. A fantastic, phenomenal story. A great run. Something we should be talking about. And yeah, you got first time Mega Drafters and Sean S. Midnight Falcon, their first Mega Draft. And Dan Beatdownbringer, this is his first tournament, right? Rookie of the League, Dan A. Beatdownbringer. No one's going to beat him for Rookie of the League. And it's someone you're going to have to be looking out for in the Mega Draft. They've shown themselves to be a contender, and this is how you break into a league and you show people who they are. You get your name known. Not only is your screen name in all capitals, so it's very loud and in my face, but you're beating everybody. You're doing it. I saw you win money in the Arena Open. You won some money on that. That was an exciting time. So this guy's a good player. He's fantastic, and maybe he'll come on the show next week when I bring on the winner of the Mega Draft. But not this week. This week, we have a special guest. Now, please join me while I enlist.
So we're all dog faces. We're all very, very different. But there is one thing that we all have in common. We were all stupid enough to enlist in the Army.
That's right. Early on in the week, I talked to Emmett F. Sepulcher because, boy, they looked like a shoo-in for the Mega Draft. They were on 19 wins, and I said, Emmett, I know you're making this thing. You know you're making this thing. You always play well. You're a fantastic player. Let's get you on the show. And then here we are. And Emmett had a terrible week 6. 0-4, I think. Had to play against Dan Beatdownbringer, their friend IRL. And Dan, sadly, had to put Emmett out of his misery. But not before I talked to him. And I had a great conversation. Emmett's a fantastic player. He was a joy to talk to. I'll tell you that. Emmett is smart as a whip. Oh boy, how smart are whips, right? That's not a good saying. Emmett's as smart as a dolphin. Those are very smart animals. But I had a great talk with Emmett. I really liked some of his strategic advice that he gives. Please join me and listen to that conversation now. All right, everyone, join me as I enlist Emmett F. Sepulcher. Welcome to the show, Emmett.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You know, you're what can we say about Emmett that hasn't been said, right? If you've been in the league for more than 1 to 2 leagues, you've lost to Emmett, you've played to Emmett, you've seen his name up in the standings. It's a huge get for me to get Emmett on the show, so I'm very excited. And I gotta know, Emmett, when did you start playing Magic?
So I started back in college. I had a buddy in the same dorm as me who was like, hey, we should, try out this Magic thing. That was about the time of Cons of Tokyo.
Oh, nice.
And we just bought a big old shoebox off eBay full of random cards and just started playing, kitchen table.
Sure.
I do remember back then, as we were looking through the box and we'd played a little bit, we found a bunch of black 1/1 death touches. We were like, wow, it's the best card in the game. Your opponent can never attack you again. And so then everyone was now running black to run those. And then we found there was a green 1/1 death touch, and then everyone was running that too. And we had 8 1/1 death touches in our decks.
Oh, you broke the game.
But we kept playing. We started doing pre-releases and things, and now that's one of my favorite things to do. I'll usually do a full weekend of 5 or 6 pre-releases.
Oh, pre-releases. Did you ever used to do the midnight pre-releases? Because I started around the same time. I love those. But man, staying up till 6 a.m. and stuff playing Magic. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, but at our college town, LGS.
Yeah, I used to really enjoy the midnight pre-release when I was younger. Too old for that now. I couldn't do it these days if I wanted to. But man, pre-release it really is one of the best things you can do in Magic. It's so fun. It's so
Absolutely.
fun. All right, Emmett. So yeah, what's your ranking and record right now?
I am 19-8.
19-8. That's great. That's
Sitting at fifth. I think one more will lock me up, but I might be okay even if I can't get there.
yeah. With 19, your tie breaks, you might be good enough to get in there. So please, by the time this comes out on Thursday, we should know if Emmett made it.
It's always worst when you build your expectations up and then you like right at the end, it's like you're barely getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing like saying on the podcast that you love your deck and it's amazing and then going 0-5, right? Nothing like that.
No.
So let's talk about Domu. What's your deck? What are you playing? What do you think of the format? How's your deck? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I will say I've taken no DMU packs.
No DMU packs, really?
My initial pool had some very good aggressive creatures. I started out in Mardu, and I decided to go. I looked through all the different standard sets in Scryfall, sort of ranking what cards would I be hoping to see.
Yeah.
You know, how many at the different rarities are we looking at? Obviously, Vow has the bombs of bombs, but in comparison, mid is much stronger at uncommon. There were several uncommons that would be much better than any rare I could open. Yeah. And I got one of them. I got Morbid Opportunist in one of my first packs.
That's like a mythic uncommon, right? That's gotta be. That card should have been a rare. That card should have easily been a rare.
And mid also has Dreadhound, which will just finish a game.
Yeah.
And a couple other things. So I've mostly gone mid. Now that my deck is in a very stable place, I think in my last one or two, I've started taking some Vow packs because I don't need the sort of incremental buffs. I just all or nothing. I'm getting some big splashy rare.
Spike something great to help you over that last little push, right?
Yeah. And I will say the other reason is I definitely prefer to play a more tempo game plan. You know, the 5-color domain was not the compelling deck for me to want to pilot. And my starting pool also didn't set me up for it well at all. I didn't have a lot of the dual lands, didn't have a ton of the payoffs.
Yeah.
So I've just been, 3-color, aggressive tempo, started out in Mardu. Lately I've been running more Jund. But yeah, so that's how I've been getting there. It tends to do well against a 5-color deck as long as it doesn't have too many rares and mythics to keep recurring without Rogue Repossession.
Right, so as long as they don't have a bunch of Wingmantle Chaplains and Shieldrids, it's probably fine, right?
Yeah, so that's been my game plan. And looking back at all my previous leagues where I've done well, it has really been on that sort of tempo game plan generally.
Yeah, and that's a great plan to go against the 5-color, right? Aggro tempo, because they're so slow. They're playing their tap lands. They're bouncing your things to draw a card. They're very slow. So you get in under that, knock them down, and it's a good strategy to have, especially in this format. And this late in the game where it's a lot of 5-color decks that are left.
Yeah, I try and just play quality threats, things that are hard to 1-for-1. And with the Morbid as well, I'll often try and play him after a lot of other stuff to try and bait out as much removal as I can. Because if we're top picking and I haven't got a Morbid, I'm gonna win.
See, that's me. I'd play it on 3. Emmett, he's holding it till you run out of removal. That's why he's always in the top 8, and I'm always getting blown out by stuff. This guy's good, man. We got to talk about it. Emmett, well, what do you think of the DMU format? So you didn't stick with DMU. You shied away from the DMU packs. What do you think of the DMU format as a whole? I know you're probably out there drafting, getting your reps in.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy drafting it. I think there's a lot of fun cards, even aside from, a couple of the really push things that have been talked about plenty. Very fun drafting, trying to decide, where do I start with? How much do I leave myself open for splashes, or just leave myself open to decide what my second color is potentially until pretty late in the draft? And see where that goes. I don't like it as much in sealed. I do think a couple of recent sets have kind of had the issue of they've really been pushing synergy, which leads to very satisfying drafts, but makes sealed a little bit more either you got it or you didn't. Which is too bad because sealed can be very nice. I really enjoy deck building, which sealed offers a little bit more of than draft. I certainly enjoy both. I am mainly a limited player. I'll play Commander and other things, but I've never put any serious time into any of the other constructed formats.
Emmett, so we got to talk. You always do well, right? And let's just say that. How many top eights do you have right now? What's your number?
So is it 4? I'll have to check. This one might be 4. I know I got it in Chaos 2, my first league.
Okay.
I got a nuts pool with 3 or 4 any color mana dorks to start out with, which just meant I had huge consistency.
Yep.
And then I just kept opening bombs in the 3 colors I was already playing. I got there in S&C, again, very solid pool. I had more fixing than anyone else. And then I had Giada, Elspeth, Rafine.
Gross.
I think I got a late, what was the green planeswalker? Vivian.
Yeah.
And then
were you Obscura? Were you an Obscura person? What was your house in essence?
No, I was not an Obscura. I was Cabaretti with Stroud.
Cabaretti. Okay, interesting. A Cabaretti player.
Yeah. I just enjoyed the flavor of Cabaretti.
No, yeah,
and it's always fun. The big wide avatar of Chetney. Chetney.
So S&C, Chaos 2, you were in it for
Brawl.
Player of the Year and Brawl. Okay. So those are your top 8s. Haven't had a win yet, right? No emote on the server.
Correct. In my first mega draft, I went 1-2, and in the next ones, I've gone 2-1 both times. Although the loss was in the second round, so I never, really got my hopes up.
Oh well, you're one of those people. It's gonna happen. You're gonna find yourself in that final match. I know you've got an emote picked out because, of course, you do. You get to that many mega drafts, you're gonna start thinking about what your emote's gonna be. But I want to know what your strategy is. I mean, how do you always seem to do so well? Because it can't always be a busted pool, right? Like,
for sure, yeah. I definitely was very fortunate. I would say my first 2, I had almost demonstrably top tier pools with way above average fixing and very solid cards. But other than that, I would say the main things that help me is I really enjoy deck building. I'll always be, looking at different color builds. And I will say there's a chance this is slightly a trap because in leagues where I don't do well, I'll be constantly looking at other builds and I might be pivoting too much to really get a sense of what is actually best versus just, taking a loss and going back to the drawing board and spending all this extra time. But really enjoy deck building, spend a lot of time practicing. Me and Miranda will play a ton of practice games.
Yeah.
Then I think I do a particularly good job of evaluating other people's pools to decide what good matchups are.
Okay.
Again, in those first 2, I had the luxury of just being one of the top pools, and I would just face any challenge.
Everything's a good judgment. Yeah, right. So I feel like whenever you're doing great, if you're in the top 8, your deck's good, you kind of got to accept all challengers, right? Because you're one of the big dogs. You're one of the scary people. You can't be turning people away.
Yeah. But yeah, now that we have the advent of the bot and whatnot, usually I'll put myself out there for the first week or 2, first match or 2 each week, see what I get. Because if I am going to take a loss in a week, it's much better to get it up front, get that extra pack, see what it can do for me. And then I'll try and, be a little more strategic. And when I am evaluating pools, usually I am wanting still to face a lot of the, higher ranked players because less packs, I think in general, does a decent amount to offset the fact that they have a good record and clearly have been doing well.
Yeah. Because they're probably still going to have some stinkers in there, right? And we all can get a bad draw, bad opening hand. Even the people that are doing great, they still got to find their busted rare or mythic that's in their 60 cards. So yeah, I like that strategy. Don't be afraid of playing the people that are doing well.
So yeah, I would say I'm very big on deck building and getting practice games in, very good at evaluating other people's pools when I'm looking for matches.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm willing to take on people at the top.
I think that practicing is huge because I've noticed that the people that do really, really well play a lot of practice games. They play a lot of them, right? You really know your deck. You kind of know what other people are playing. And I've noticed it's like you, Miranda, Cody, Dan in this league has been playing a ton of practice games. They're doing very well.
It's been great to see how much more heavily used looking for practice matches become.
Yeah. And if you're out there and you're maybe struggling, play some practice games, try a different deck just to kind of see how it is. Because I know that I get stuck in a deck and I don't really like looking at a bunch of like building 5 different pools and trying to play them out. It just sounds like a lot to me. But the people that do that and the people that kind of hone and get all their practice games in, they just do better. They know their deck, they know what they're drawing for, and they're playing around stuff because they've seen more stuff, right?
Yeah. In this league, a big thing was, as I mentioned, I was Mardu up front.
Yeah.
I had Danitha. I bought the Danitha avatar to go with it.
Nice.
Used the Danitha sleeves. I was very excited about my white. And early on, I opened a bunch of very good red-white interaction spells and such. And, I had some fun things I enjoyed with that deck, but I started opening a lot of good green cards later on.
Yeah.
And kept evaluating, like, do I want to go green? It slows the deck down a bit, adds a little more fixing, a little more top end. But I wasn't sure, like, is it even worth trying to plan for a longer game when I know a domain deck will just be able to outvalue me,
That's very good.
But the practice games let me highlight that, the red-white deck has almost no way, red-white-black had almost no way back into the game after, like, the initial push.
Sure.
And the green deck, in addition to having a bit more fixing, I've got a mana dork or two, just had ways to close out a game.
Yeah.
Even though I might not be able to keep up on, full value, I don't, it doesn't cost me as much if I don't get that really hot start.
Yeah, you still got some big beefy tramply boys coming, I'm sure, one way or another. Well, Emmett, you've been in the league since Chaos 2. So once again, four top 8 since Chaos 2. That's incredible. That's another one of these people that's just having a great run, great streak. Starting the year off right. You were in the Player of the Year last year. You're starting off, top 8ing again, most likely as this comes out. So you're making another push for Player of the Year this year. So Emmett, you've been in the league. You've seen it all. You've got to have some opinion. What's one thing you would change about the league? And don't be, everyone's been so safe. I want to break these walls down, Emmett. I want to get some discussion going.
So I will say I'm very excited about two things that are being tried out in the side league, the upcoming league, and that is pool rerolls and multi-packs to pick one of them.
Your pool reroll was insane. It was. I saw it, and my hopes for the league dipped because I was like, I just can't play against that deck. Too many mythics. Too many.
Yep. Oh yeah. I think it was 4 mythics after the reroll and maybe an extra rare from, I guess one of them was foil or something.
Oh yeah, sure. Just an extra rare. Just throw it in there on top of all those mythics. Sure, he doesn't even need it.
And I will say, as I established, I'm very big into deck building and have the luxury of time to invest in trying out different builds and things.
Yeah.
And both of those would increase the consistency of pools.
Mm-hmm.
And I've certainly seen arguments that the pick 2 from 2 packs would also increase the power level significantly by the end of the league.
Yes,
certainly. And I'm a little bit back and forth on that. Personally, I like the deck building. I like the idea of not being shut out from something because I just didn't roll a great pool, and just by the time you get a chance to compete, you're already you need such an incredible string of luck that it's
there's so much luck.
Yeah. I never go into a week hoping for anything better than 3-2. I'm realistic that variance happens, and a lot of times all you need is to make a top 8 is 3-2 most weeks, and then 1 or 2 better weeks. And not getting my hopes too high also really helps keep from getting tilted.
That's I like that. This guy's so good. These are great tips. Everybody, please listen to what Emmett's saying. This is fantastic.
But yeah, so I'm very excited to see if, whether you want to look at it as mitigating the luck element of the pools or increasing consistency, does create better outcomes. I also, I don't know if it would lead to a potentially worse new player experience if by minimizing this luck, a new player doesn't get to enjoy. I mean, my first league, I had a great pool. I got to come in, take on anyone I wanted, and really enjoy it. So, I see arguments on both sides of those, but I'm very excited to see how they turn out, what people think of them, and the feedback for those.
Yeah, I think these are some really interesting changes that are going to be really great. It is something we're going to have to keep an eye on, right? Because it's like, having to choose from 2 packs, you're going to get to pick stronger cards, but so are the people that had the busted starting pools. They're also going to be able to make their start better pools, even better, maybe even in quicker. There's a lot that's going to go into it. I'm excited because, man, I've been opening terrible packs. I can't keep opening. Statistically, if I'm opening 2 at a time, I got to find good ones. I got
Absolutely.
to. It's going to happen. See ya.
And it might also lead to something where more people stay in the original colors because you're picking cards that go with your current deck.
Yeah.
But overall, I think they're great things to try out because as we've seen with some of the more divisive league mechanics in the past, a lot of issues can arise when you change the incentives around matchmaking or other elements like that in the league. And when you're just changing pools, I think that's a lot more latitude. It doesn't, there may be power level elements, there may be, maybe some luck is good for new player involvement and retention, or just in general, like letting there be more variety and whatnot, more people coming in and having a great league. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, and the people in the league committee, they do such a good job finding new ways to mix things up and try things out. Hats off to everyone out there for all the work they put in. I know it's a lot of work and real hard to try and figure out how to appease so many people all at the same time. I think you guys are doing great and really making an effort to try new and wonderful things. Emmett, so you're a great player, right? You've had, I'm sure, plenty of accomplishments in your Magic career. But I want to know what's the great number one Magic accomplishment for you, Emmett F. Subculture?
So yeah, I mean, as a limited player, I haven't done that many major tournaments or things. But back at the beginning of the year, they were giving out those super cool worm coil engine promos.
Oh yeah.
For store championships. And my local game store was doing just a standard or modern or something. As were a number of the ones in the area. But there was one about 45 minutes away that was doing a Crimson Vow sealed cut to top 8 Midnight Hunt draft.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which seemed like a ton of fun, both very enjoyable formats.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I went mid mostly in this league. But I also enjoy cuts to a top 8, getting to do the additional event.
That's so fun.
The main reward. So yeah, me and Miranda went out there, made the drive. It was a new store and everything. But I opened a volatile arsonist in my sealed pool. So helped me aggro my way to. I still think I barely got in, but I did clear I made it in the top 8. And I don't remember as much about the draft, but I do know that me and Miranda both made it to the semifinals and faced each other. And it came down to like the last turn in game 3, but I managed to beat her and then go on and win the whole thing and take home that sweet worm coil engine that now sits at the front of my trade binder.
I was about to say, you probably keep that special, right? That's a special little prize for you.
Yeah. So it's probably my favorite little token thing. And I also love Two-Headed Giant. Probably our most fun Two-Headed Giant event was at PAX East. They had standard set box sealed Two-Headed Giant,
that sounds
which was
insane.
6 packs of each of the 6 standard sets for
Wow.
36 total packs. And they gave you 90 minutes to build your Two-Headed Giant deck. And we used every single minute of that. And we did those on back-to-back nights and went undefeated. So
Really? Oh, that's so cool. Man, that's awesome. Back-to-back nights, undefeated in PAX East. I'm sure that feels great. Getting a nice fancy warm coil, that's a fun prize. Man, that's so cool. That's so awesome. What fun store. I've never done the full box seal, but I've done some like team sealed events where you're trying to build like 3 decks at a time. And that's stressful. So like I can imagine, especially if you got all these different sets from all these different packs and but that sounds like a blast. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, Emmett, thank you so much for coming on the show. I wish you luck if you make the mega draft, and I'm 96% sure you're going to. So I'll be rooting for you. I can't wait to see what emote you pick when you finally get that win, because I know it will happen for you.
All righty.
And again, thank you so much, Emmett.
Yeah, it was a great time. Thank you again.
Yeah, you have a good one and good luck out there.
Thanks.
Again, Emmett couldn't have been nicer. Everyone that's come on has been super nice. But Emmett's one of those people who has, way more top 8s than me, started after me, always plays really well, and is always someone that I kind of keep an eye on for advice, and to kind of see what they're doing and what they're talking about, because I have a lot of respect for them as a player, as a person too, but mostly as a player, just because I don't know you that well, Emmett. You seem like a great guy. But as a player, nothing but mad respect for Emmett. Fantastic at what he does. A real joy to have in the league and a real joy to have on the podcast. Thank you for making the time for me, Emmett. And let's use that segue to talk about the people that are no longer with us.
The way of the samurai is found in death. Meditation on inevitable death should be performed daily. Every day when one's body and mind are at peace, one should meditate upon being ripped apart by arrows, rifles, spears, and swords, being carried away by surging waves, being thrown into the midst of a great fire, being struck by lightning. This is the substance of the way of the samurai.
Emmett F. Sepulture. Raphael F. Prudent. Chris P. Joker 01. Jonathan R. J. Raps. Adam S. Wisma. Nick S. Najisi. I said your name last week. Can't forget that. Can't forget Najisi. Ryan W. Mutt Bunches. Gerardo O. Seductive Turtle. Oscar T. Aussie Tubby. Daniel J. Insequent. Sawyer T. Soy Boy. JPG. J. Pay. Paul G. The Dragon. Ryan P. F4WX. Patrick M. Fullest J. Richard K. Preacher. Pour out your cloud blazers for Richard K., please. Christopher G. Oompa Loompa. Noah B. Cisco. Caleb G. Why not? Cody Race. I feel like I've said some of these names before. Sorry. I record in awkward times, and sometimes people get eliminated after I record. I don't really pay a ton of attention to what names I say. I know I'm going to stop with the name I started with last week, which is... I don't remember. I've probably already said it. Yeah, I definitely have already said it. We'll just end there. We'll end there. And again, if I didn't say your name, sorry. In fact, I'd love to ask if you're listening to the show. And if you're not listening, don't worry about this, okay? But if you're listening to the show, I would love some feedback, criticisms, comments about how it's going, things you would like to change, things you'd like to get rid of, things that are going well. Feedback's important, constructive, and critical. Because if things are going well, I don't really know if people like certain things. I don't know if people don't like certain things. For instance, I'm considering getting rid of this segment where I talk about everyone's name that's been eliminated. Because I don't know what it really adds to the show other than you get your name set on it, which is cool, and I like it. But I'm also moving all these shows to YouTube and an archive, and boy, am I getting copyright strikes against all the drops I use, mostly on the dead people drops. But that's mostly on me because I don't need to do that. I can just make my own drops, but it's less fun. Anyway, that's what's going on with the archive. It's happening. It's up, actually. I think if you search it on YouTube, you can find it. I'm still doing descriptions and exporting the last couple episodes, but mostly I'm concerned because I'm getting copyright strikes and I don't really know how bad that is. I don't know a lot about this. So please, feedback time. It's the end of the league. This is where you say, hey, Goku, I like this segment a lot. Keep it up. Or I didn't like that very much. Maybe instead of doing this, you should do that. Or ideas for new segments. I don't know. I'm sure Cody has 1,000 ideas. That's Cody's thing. He comes at me with ideas and I love him for it. But I would love your ideas. Send me a message. Tag me in a post. I don't care. It can be public. It can be private. It can be anonymous somehow. I'm sure there's a way to make that work. But I love your feedback. It's going to help me get better, and it's going to help the show get better. So, Mega Draft is being planned, hopefully for this weekend, but you never know. Sometimes they push it back. And right now you do have Johnny's Ravnica Mixer going on. We're going into week 3 here soon. That's been a ton of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm 5-5 at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. These were some really fun sets to play, and it's fun to play them all mixed up. Whoever put these together did a great job of finding what I think is a very correct power level. I'm not seeing anything broken, but I'm also not missing any cards that I'm really looking forward to. I'm a little sad I haven't seen a disinformation campaign deck yet, but I hope there's one out there, because that's... Oh man, that was one of my favorite archetypes of that format. And next week is Set Wars. I'm excited for that. I got a team. Bunch of IRL friends. Chris R., Jason M., and Nick P., related to John P., my brother. And we've got, we're playing some spice. We got a funny team name and a good gimmick. And I'm going to bring on each one of my guests. Boom, boom, boom. For the guests of Set Wars. So you're going to get to know people I know a little bit better. And I'm excited to share some of that with all of you. So we got Set Wars coming up. I'm waiting for my pool to be rolled. Chris, please roll me some good Amonkhet cards. Surprise, I'm playing Amonkhet. Yes, look, hoping to make a fun cycling deck. That's what I said. I was like, I just want to play a fun cycling deck. I want to build some weird cycling thing. But I'm going to open 3 Glory Bringers and just play aggro. Boo-hoo-hoo. But that's what I'm doing. I hope you're doing something fun for it. I'm really looking forward to playing against your team, having you beat my face in, and really just having fun with some of my friends who I don't usually get to play Magic with, on a team basis. It's really fun to talk about your game, talk about your plays, talk about what's going on, It's a different form of Magic than just 1v1 that we don't get to see a lot. So I hope you're going to be there. I know it's going to be a great time. And I know that if you're playing in it, that you're going to get to keep a good 7. I know this. I know this for a fact, just like I knew Emmett was going to make the Mega Draft. And I know that the Shuffler will be in your favor. Because it's broken. So hopefully it's broken on a positive note for you. Not the bad side where you don't draw the right things. I'll see everyone right here for next week as we talk to your Mega Draft winner and kick off Set Wars. Bye, everybody.